hello, and welcome back to TGTV, and more specifically, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a very squinty start to a video. Something very exciting has joined me, ladies and gentlemen. I've threatened this video for a little while, but finally, a yellow Carrera T 992.2 has joined the garage. But I say joined with a difference. So you will see the yellow Carrera T actually in my garage in here with the Carrera GT, and I thought this was quite an interesting comparison to make. These two cars together, sort of as a size comparison. Actually, I thought there'd be a lot more in it than there is. I thought this thing would absolutely dwarf the Carrera GT, but the Carrera GT actually does look quite big in comparison. They are both pretty much up against the wall at the other end, but it's quite nice to have them both next to each other. One thing that does strike me though is how much higher that Carrera T is than the Carrera GT. If you look at the roofline on both of them, I mean, that doesn't help because it's pitch black in there and I've got cover, but it does ride obviously a lot higher. This though, I've got to be honest, off the bat, straight away, this is a Porsche GB press car. This is a car that I've been not pestering, but really wanting to get behind the wheel of. Obviously, I've had two Carrera Ts in my past, I've had two 991.2s, and I actually skipped the 992.1 generation. I ordered one and then just sacked the whole idea off. I just wasn't that into it. So I was really keen to get behind the wheel of this. Back is the 6-speed manual gearbox. They've done some revisions. I think they listened to the feedback on the 992.1 generation, and we've got some very cool touches in this car, which we will get into. We're going to take her out for a spin. This is not just going to be a walk around and talk video, but I just wanted to start the video basically in here with these two cars together. And there is a 997 GT3 RS shaped hole in there because it is still at Auto Farm having the suspension sorted and a service and any other fettling that it needs. You'll note that we've got the Porsche LED sign up on the wall there. If you want one of those, I think by the time this video goes out, there is one at Historics maybe, or maybe at Iconics. I'll leave a link below if I remember to where you can find one of these signs, but that is absolutely sick. Obviously it's been stuck to the wall by a baboon, aka me, and the wiring is atrocious, but yeah, if you want one of those, I think that looks amazing. I'll put the link below the video. That's supposed to be red, but the camera isn't really showing up because it's pretty much completely bright sunshine here, but very cool. You can hear it ticking away. We have just been for a little hoon together. So let's jump in then. We'll fire up and we'll go for a spin. Oh, and we'll be joined by Will as well. Carrera T time, my first experience in a Carrera T since being in the older generation. Hello Will, you're back on the channel. This is Deja Vu. We actually filmed a video in the Carrera GT around this area not so long ago. That video's going down really well actually.
Back again.
Neither of us are being abused in the comments.
Not yet.
Not yet. Anyway, we are back in another manual Porsche. I'm obviously sat over on the right hand side and you're over on the left, whereas
it's the other way around actually, yeah.
Swapsy's in the other one. Completely different. We've got a manual gearbox and a wooden gear stick in this car, which is really nice. There are a lot of cool touches on this car, I must say. We are basically just in a standard Carrera. That's the platform, that's the engine. But they have introduced some options in this that you cannot get in the standard Carrera. So this 6-speed box is the only manual gearbox you can get in any of the Carrera range, other than obviously GT products.
Does move.
It does.
It does move.
It's about £12,000 list price, more expensive than a standard Carrera, but you also get PASM as standard as well. You get a really clever like mechanical diff slip thingy that's really smart apparently. You don't usually get in the standard Carrera, I believe. And you also get the option for rear wheel steer, which you don't get the option, you've got to pay for it. Good. You don't get that option in a standard Carrera either. You get thinner glass, so you get that kind of plasticky glass back there, which I was absolutely obsessed with on the previous 911Ts. And you also get a lighter battery. I'm sure you can notice that lighter battery over there.
So light.
Yeah, so light. You've obviously got your normal mode, so normal driving around, your exhaust button is off and you can kind of just float around, very comfortable. You've got sport, which makes the throttle response a little bit more aggressive, puts the exhaust button on, and then you also get Sport Plus, which stiffens up the dampers as well. You can turn that off, and I would say most roads you're going to probably have it in Sport Plus, but turn the damper button off because they are quite stiff for normal roads. Like these sorts of roads in the Cotswolds, you probably would have that button off. I've had it off the whole time, but I have had all the sport modes and the silly exhaust button on. But actually, putting it around day
normal mode, noisy exhaust button, great. With the sport mode as well, it's unavoidable. You get blip. That's not me. That's not my fancy footwork. That's the car. Second to third gear is genuinely hilarious.
She's moving.
Third gear will take you into 3 figures quite happily, so the gear ratios are still quite long on this car, but the gearbox is good. Out has gone the 7-speed box from the previous Carrera Ts. They got rid of it. I actually quite liked it because it was basically a 6-speed box with the 7th gear as an override that you could only access from 6th, I believe, but they got rid of it. So yeah, people are complaining. It does sound good. You get a lot of turbo whistle, you get a lot of flat sticks. It's nicely sounding. There's a nice burbling and popping on the overruns, but there's nothing too kind of intrusive and silly. It doesn't sound like a
140i.
140i with a JB2 box or whatever.
Final boss inside.
Final boss of either spec. It's a very livable with car. The tech's obviously brilliant. It's a 992. You know, everything's absolutely brilliant in here. No sunroof on this press car. I don't know if you can option one. I'm pretty sure you probably can. You can completely ruin the whole ethos of the car. Obviously, you've got the carbon buckets as well. These are not available to option in a standard Carrera. And seats are a no-cost option. So you get it without seats, but you can actually obviously get back seats at zero cost. If you option the buckets, you don't get back seats because there's no way of accessing them. These aren't the folding seats you get in the new GT3s. These are the 918 seats. Everyone calls them the 918 seats. But they're brilliant. They're tried, tested, and proven. They are brilliant. I've been honking around in this thing. I did a lot of miles in it yesterday, and
Pretty comfy actually.
my back is made of Edam and it's still absolutely fine, so we're very happy. The press department have gone for like a body coloured vibe in here, so they're matching the Cartagena yellow. Cartagena yellow is the name of the colour.
Big word.
Yeah, it's like a faded racing yellow basically. They've matched it inside here. Much like the Carrera GT video, we are going to pull up and make some smooth brain content here on the side of the road. It seemed to go down well. It's had 300,000 views on the previous smooth brain content that I did on Instagram with the Carrera GT on the side of the road.
Hell smooth though.
Nearly getting mauled by a tractor on the way past, so we're going to make some smooth produce on the side of the road here before continuing on with the review. But I'm going to have a little walk around now we're outside, and show you some of the little I was going to say gimmicks, but they're not gimmicks. They're actually quite cool little heritage nods on this car, because Porsche really made an effort with this car. This is their nod to the purists, saying, we see you, we acknowledge you, and we're still going to make stuff that you guys want. And the geeks out there, we're still going to make cars for people that appreciate the geeky Porsche stuff. And that is me. So I'm glad they're still making cars like this. I'm going to show you some of the bits they put on this car to appease those sorts of people. So parked up here on the side of the road, the key remains no different on the 992.2 generation. So as I said before, colour is Cartagena yellow. That's probably not the way to pronounce it, but it's a new colour for the 992.2. It's basically a faded kind of racing yellow. I really like it. It's kind of a pastel-y, really nice colour. This car doesn't have the front aero bumper. It's got the standard bumper on it. Does look pretty aggressive. You get things like optional matrix LED lights for about $2.5 grand. I think this has got them. Very nice. Would I option those? Potentially not. One thing, as always with the Carrera Ts, you do get the kind of the base brakes, so you don't get the red brakes from the S. These are the standard brakes. I don't know if ceramics are on the configurator. Don't know if you can option ceramics. They're about $8 these days. What I would say is these have been working very well. I actually wouldn't see the need to upgrade to ceramics when they're about $5, $8, $6 maybe, but these have been working very well. You obviously get decals on the side to remind everyone that you've bought the purists enthusiast version. And we've got this on the window here, which reminds everyone you've got a 6-speed box and you're a hashtag save the manuals kind of guy or girl. As I said, we've got this lightweight glass, which you can, don't know if you can tell the difference. Glass, plastic, glass, plastic, plastic. I don't know what the weight saving is, but there we go. Very nice. We've got the sports exhaust out the back there. A very nice stance to it. And what I do like about the 992 generation, you've got this kind of imprint here, which is very sort of GT3-esque. It does sit very wide. There's obviously no differentiation now between sort of wide body and narrow body like there was with the 991.2. The 991.2 Carrera T was a narrow bodied car. There's actually no differentiation on these now. All Carreras are the same body, give or take. Coming into the car then, You press the button, the handle pops out. You do get the grey mirrors and all the kind of agate grey details, by the way, that you have on the previous Carrera T generation, so they've remained consistent with that. But inside the cabin then, you get your sports chrono clock up there. As I say, you get PASM as standard now in this car. You've got all the body coloured panelling. But this is what we're all here for, really. Harking back to the days of the 917 or whatever the hell they made that gear knob out of back then in wood, and the Carrera GT, you've got this gear stick here. Beechwood, birchwood, balsa wood, don't know. But I did know, and I forgot the name of it while I was filming this. Good. What was that? 997 Carrera S. Lovely. You've got your drive modes on here as well, so literally just a little twiddle. You'll all be used to that. Gone also is the start-stop twiddly. You don't put a key in. You don't even turn it anymore. You just prod. A sad day. I did quite like the turny bit. Pedals are very nice. I suspect those are an option. Aluminium pedals, they're probably a few £100, but very cool. And if you're gonna buy a car that's based on the pedals, then you may as well get nice ones. This car, mind my broken phone, this car has the Bose surround system in it as well. I believe that is about 1,200, 1,500 quid. Might be £2 these days. Very, very good. I would recommend optioning that. And these are obviously your full carbon buckets, and they've just got the Porsche crest in the headrest there. Nothing tacky like Carrera T or whatever. And then in the back seats there, well, in the back there, no seats at all. You've just got very thin glass and an engine in there, so you can hear quite a lot of what is going on. Not quite as mechanical as a GT3, you can't hear all the sort of scuttling and whirring and whatnot, but very, very cool. And kudos to you if you buy one of these and you don't have the back seats. That's actually kind of what the car's about. One thing worth noting, of course, with the fixed seats, they don't do any of that. There's literally no adjustment in them whatsoever. The clue is in the word fixed. Very nice amount of carbon back there, but they only go forward and back. So, I mean, if you're a weird shape or a weird height, try one of these cars out. You can obviously adjust the steering wheel. Manually adjustable with this little lever on here. Goes up and down and forward and back. So if the seat isn't that comfortable, you do have some options with the steering wheel for adjustment. You've got all your buttons on here. This one is kind of a special button which you can configure to be whatever you want. Obviously you've got traction control there. That's the silly exhaust button, which is fantastic. And that's your damper button there as well. A few twiddles for the aircon, physical twiddles, we like that. These are physical buttons as well. Brilliant. Cup holder there. And you even get a little MT there for manual transmission, just to remind you, because that's not enough of a reminder. You might want a little MT there. Gotta say, shift on this car as well is absolutely fantastic. Nice short throw, nice springed weighting back to the center, so you can kind of flow through and find the gear with ease. Nice little mechanical thud into each gear. No complaints about this gearbox whatsoever. In some modern cars, when they wedge a manual gearbox in, you think, ah, that's awful, and it kind of feels like an afterthought, but this gearbox actually really suits the engine as well. So big thumbs up to this gearbox match with this engine. Lots of power throughout the rev range. Brilliant. Your parking brake down here, and actually it takes a lot to remember that this is, you go into autopilot when you get in a 992. The amount of times I've gone to start it and then it's just not starting, you've actually put the clutch in. And also when you come to stop it, you've got to remember to put that on, because it's a manual, the car will roll. So yeah, do not forget the electronic parking brake. And you've got fast charger under there as well. Unlike a lot of fast chargers which just heat your phone up and don't actually charge it, this charges it. I can vouch for that. And you've got USB-Cs in there as well. Right, I think that's pretty much all there is to cover on this car. Oh, it's 395 brake horsepower, 394, 396, can't remember which one it is. Doesn't really matter. The 991.2 that I had was 365 brake horsepower or thereabouts. So this is obviously the engine and the power plant from the base Carrera, and actually matches the Carrera S from the previous generation. They usually do that. They kind of leapfrog one model every single time, so the base becomes the S from the previous generation, if that makes sense. So just under 400 brake horsepower, 0 to 60, 4.5 seconds, and peak power they say is about 6,500 revs. It does rev up all the way to 7,500 revs, which is 1,000 revs short of obviously the GT3, and you do get a peak power band thing on the Speedo as well to show you where those twin turbos from that 3-litre flat 6 come in. Anyway, I'm going to make some smooth brain content for my Instagram, and then I'm going to jump back in and we're going to go through the rest of the car. Smooth brain content complete. We've got thumbnails, we've got drive-bys, we've got me walking around the car. We're using my iPhone as a microphone. I really should just get some mic, shouldn't I? Probably. Most people have mics. Yeah. I literally just use the voice recorder on my other iPhone. Very amateur indeed. Good. I think we pretty much covered off everything about this car. I actually really like it. I'm going to be very sad when I have to give this thing back. Very sad indeed. It's great. And as I said in my smooth brain content on Instagram, These are, give or take, best part of 100 grand cheaper now than a fully spec'd up Weissach GT3. And should you be looking at them as alternatives to one another? No, because they're actually not competing products. I don't think you really can compare the two things. A GT3 is not a Carrera T. A Carrera T is like a fun, purist road 911.
Doesn't feel 100 grand less though.
It doesn't feel 100 grand less, and actually you can order one of these. You can roll into your dealer and get one of these. Residually, they're not so bad. You're not going to make money. You're not going to be able to flip it. You might lose a little bit of money, but actually it's going to be pretty cheap motoring. I think fully spec'd, you're probably looking at about maybe probably 120 once you get a few bits on. I would probably go, as I did with my first Carrera T, I would go with all the options that you cannot get on a standard Carrera, I would get on this car. So obviously I don't know if you can get a PDK one of these. I'm not sure if they force you to have a manual, but I would go for the buckets, I'd go for the rear axle steer, I'd go for the silly glass. Anything that you can't get on a standard Carrera, I would go for this. I might well go ceramics if they're an option. I know the ceramics came on and off the configurators over the years because of supply chain issues, so I don't know whether or not you can get ceramics on this car. You don't actually really need them. I'll just be getting them for kind of willy waving rides, and actually because they've got grey on the wheels, you can't really see any brake dust anyway.
And you're not going to track it, so...
You're not going to track it. I did track my previous Carrera T once, and I kind of regretted it. It was kind of, just felt like I was just driving around a track in a road car. It's just not for that.
This is more chilled.
Yeah. And I think mid-range, I think this would give a GT3 a run for its money. It's quick.
It's fast.
It's not really about straight line speed though with this. I think it's a fantastic car, I really do. And I think people are missing a trick overlooking the Carrera T. They've been overlooking it since the first one. So yeah, I actually quite minded to order a PTS brown one of these.
Brown would be hell.
Brown would be hell.
Brown inside.
Yeah, maybe some orange seats or something. I don't know if you can do that. Anyway, on that note, we are arriving at Soho Farmhouse and they don't let you film in here, even though everyone does. So we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe, blah, blah, blah.
Ciao.
And there may well be a spec video, specking one of these up. Actually specking one up as well, not just doing one of those pretend videos that I like doing. Bye.